a lovely album.
Thank you so much, Bruce. Hello there, Philip.
Oh, what an inspiration. All these different Australian capital cities.
We're talking about Mother's Day and your memories of dear old Mum.
Yes, well, I've actually sung really 4 songs that all are to do with mothers and babies. I mean, certainly I'm mentioning Mum in the song about Melbourne there.
Yes.
But equally, I sang a song on the recent album Epiphany, which was called The Hand That Rocks the Cradle Rocks the World. And indeed, that's also touching on motherhood quite a bit. So really, it's a beautiful, heartwarming subject to sing about and write lyrics about. But the whole album, I'm so thrilled with, because I've written a song for all the different capitals.
Yes, all the capital cities. It's lovely. Did Mum see your success and enjoy the days of your...
Oh yes, Mum was my greatest encouragement. Yes, she really... I remember when I sat and played the piano and sang for hours and hours and hours on end. She'd be in the kitchen doing what she was doing, during school holidays.
Yes.
And she'd call out to me, "I'll play Kitten on the Keys," saying it had to be you. She had a whole list of things she loved.
And did she live long enough to see the Seekers become international favourites?
Well, yes, certainly I had my time with the Seekers in the 60s. She died in 1974, and so she was only 61.
Wow.
She had terrible lung problems, and so really we were lucky to have her as long as we did. But she and Dad were hugely encouraging for me.
And did she have that lyrical, lilting voice that you have?
It was very hard to know, Philip, because she didn't have the breath to sing. So we could hear that she was very tuneful. And I do believe, knowing that my sister is a singer as well, I do think that she would have had a lovely voice. Grandma was certainly she could sing harmony very easily.
Yeah, of course you're talking of Beverly Sheehan now.
Yes, indeed, yes. Beverly's voice is very, very similar to mine. So as I grew up, we had music all around us. Dad was a very good singer, and he also played piano as well.
Yeah. We are looking at these 2 CDs. These coincide with the tour of Australia you're doing during the year.
Yes, it's coming up very soon now. I'll be doing concerts in Melbourne on the 7th of July and the 8th of July at Her Majesty's, going all around Australia. So, of course, it's only now just 50 years that I've been in the music industry, and I haven't toured in Australia for 10 years, so this is the very first opportunity I've had.
Well, to coincide with that, Decca have released 2 of your CDs, Gift of Song, and the one we've just been playing featuring the Australian City Suite. What an inspiration. No one's done that before, Judith.
Oh, it was high time, I think, Philip. I thought I'd better make my contribution. Ron and I were in the States driving across, and I had the map of America on my lap. And I was amazed to see, of course, that just about every city we drove through had a song written about it. And I thought, well, I'll just try and write one to just see how I go. And so I wrote one for Melbourne. And then over the next years, gradually, I added to the collection. I wrote the Sydney song next when I was in Paris. And then we came back to Queensland, and I wrote the one for Brisbane. And so it went on.
But tell me, what rhymes with Canberra?
Canberra, well, I didn't have to. I was very careful not to have to rhyme Canberra. But, yes, in Canberra I decided to not talk about the politicians. I'm more having this imaginary dream about what it would be like to have the Australian animals all around Canberra. So, yes, it was great fun doing them all.
Well, these 2 new CDs, they've become certain favourites of Bruce and mine, Gift of Song and the Australian City Suite.
And Judith, thank you for being with us and reminiscing with us about Mother on Mother.
Judith Durham, the lead vocalist of the 1960s Australian folk pop band and the Seekers, whose shimmering soprano voice and wholesome image propelled singles like Georgy Girl and I'll Never Find Another You to the top of the pop charts. Passing on, very many people, not only in Australia but globally, have come out to pay their tributes. And like you've heard in the video, we've had Judith actually paying tributes to her late mother and also sending a few messages to her late mother, whom she remembered during that time. Actually, that interview was held a few months back before actually Judith passed on. She sent messages of condolences to her mother, remembering her on the lovely Mother's Day, and at that time she said she really loved her mother and really actually composed a couple of songs to commemorate her life and also to celebrate her life. So many people on social media have come out also to pay their tributes after the passing on of Judith Durham. A one Lynette Gayle said, "Gone but will never be forgotten. Her voice was amazing. May she rest in eternal peace." I've made so many videos of Judith Durham, remembering her and also paying my tributes. Personally, I really loved her. Her voice, her angelic voice was out of this world, because this is a lady whom you can't really compare her to any other person when it comes to having that an angelic, awesome, sweet voice. A one Dali Morgan said, "A sad day for Australian and worldwide music. Your unique voice was one of a kind and mesmerizing, and your music will live on for so many years to come. R.I.P. Judith Durham." And one If Right said, "Our earthly angel has grown her heavenly wings to sing to the angels above. Rest in peace, Judith Durham. And I thank you for the memories." So many people are still sending in messages of condolences, paying their tributes to the lovely and the awesome Judith Durham. And one Pauline Ramsden said, "Her voice will never ever be replicated." And I agree with that, because she really had a very unique voice. And you know, her voice appealed to all ages. Of course, she was born in the 50s, but as a fan of hers and as a person who was born later, I appreciate that voice. So I agree with what Pauline said, because her voice was really angelic and it could never be replicated by anyone else. One Malcolm said, "In terms of absolute decency and level-headed conversation, I very much doubt there is any other group or there is any other person who could match Judith Durham." One Michael said, "I recall hearing the Seekers as a very young boy, and I warmed to their music even though I was a Beatles freak from outset. Well, Judith, you shall be remembered." So many comments, so many tributes are still being sent. And as we are still waiting for the state funeral to be held, actually on the 6th of September from around 6 p.m, we are going to still pay tributes to the fallen angel, our lovely Judith Durham, because this is a lady who will never be replaced. So looking through her biography, Judith gave a voice to a new strand of so many people. She actually influenced so many people. This is actually what even the Prime Minister had to say, because Judith was really a very inspirational figure. In this moment in time, we are sending our biggest condolences to her family, friends, and everyone who really adored her. Rest in power, the Queen, Judith Durham.